your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Freddie, Wrestling with Friends. We're not going to do any news because we have a very special guest today, and we're going to get right to it. But just before anything else, I want you to know how awesome our producer and this show thinks you are. This is the introduction that our producer wrote. Here we go. Listen to this. This is God mode. Today, we have a charismatic and skilled professional wrestler who's made a significant impact in the world of WWE. With an impressive blend of technical prowess, in-ring ability, and a captivating presence, he has established himself as a noteworthy figure in WWE. Hailing from Mexico, he embodies the rich tradition of lucha libre while bringing his unique style and persona to the global stage of sports entertainment. He made his mark in WWE as the leader of the faction known as Legado Del Fantasma, displaying not only his wrestling skills but also his leadership qualities. Beyond his in-ring accomplishments, he exudes confidence and charisma, making him a compelling figure both inside and outside the squared circle. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Santos Escobar. Sir, that's like documentarian style right there. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
I'm super happy. Hermano, Freddie, carnal.
Thank you, man.
Jeff, thank you for having me on the show. Like I said before, I appreciate these opportunities. This is a unique opportunity for me to speak to my people. And I just cherish these moments as they afford this chance for mi gente out there to see what's underneath the character they see on TV.
Well, this is a big opportunity for us too, so the feeling is 100% mutual. I want to get right into this, and I'd like to start off on a deeper note, and maybe we'll lighten up as we go. You know, my father was in show business before me, and he passed away a long time ago, but his legend and the shoes that he left for me to fill were massive in size, and I spent my life trying to make sure that I walked the right path. Your father walked this path before you as El Fantasma. And I'm just wondering what legacy means to you, what kind of pressure that is. Do you thrive on that pressure? Do you create it yourself? Was it placed upon you? All those things. If you could just kind of talk me through what it's like to follow in your father's footsteps, because it's no easy task.
Well, it was all of the above, actually. Legado means legacy. And that's why Legado del Fantasma came about in WWE. I thought it was very important for me to portray what my real legacy was, what my real legado was. And very straightforward, Legado del Fantasma, which is a legacy of my dad. And my dad still does this thing because, you know, once you become a luchador, a wrestler, a sports entertainer, however you want to call it, you will never stop being it. You'll keep doing it until the wheels come off. And he just had a show in Atlanta like 2 months ago, and he's doing autograph signings, appearances, and whatnot. And I'm so happy he still does that because he's been not just my hero, my instructor, my friend, my executioner sometimes. Early on in my career, I've been doing this for 23 years now. I'm going on my 24th year next year. He's always been so hard on me, like his critique since I was a kid. And one of the things that, and this is personal, but it is the truth. You know how in lucha libre, you inherit your family's name, your family's tradition, whatever. My dad did not thought I was tough enough to carry on with his legacy early on. And he gave his name to someone else, my cousin. And that, my brothers, that made me just go ballistic because I realized that this life of always trying to prove yourself, with whoever you see in the mirror, it's also the same with your family. Much to my surprise, this happened and I had to work my behind off just to prove to him. Because at the beginning, I didn't even want to be the son of El Fantasma anymore. I said like, okay, that's not going to happen. But I'm going to prove to you that I'm not only am I tough enough and I can have your name out there, I'm going to become a stable name on my own. And I started doing it on my own. My first 3 years were as a top secret. That was my wrestling name. top secret. And I just kept doing it. And eventually my dad we would coexist in the same shows. He would be in the main event and I would be, just the first match, which in the US, by the way, it's different. 3 of the most important positions you can have is opening the show, crossover, or main event.
Yeah.
Those are 3 important positions that you get in the US. Not in Mexico, my friends. Not in Mexico. In Mexico, it's by order, and you have to climb that hierarchy and eventually get to the main event. That's how it works.
It's like old school boxing. You start with the small guys and work your way up to the champions. Yeah.
So there was instances way back when we would be on the same show, and I would be home 3 hours before he arrived because he was on the main event. But it was just this fire inside me that was ignited when that happened. And eventually he came around, and I came around too, because wrestling, sports entertainment, lucha libre is so hard that eventually you realize, I know where he's coming from. I know he doesn't want me to embarrass whatever he did for 40 years and still does. And that sank in, and I understood.
That's what I was going to follow up with. And Jeff, then I'll let you jump in. Do you think he did that to you on purpose to motivate you sometimes? Or do you think that's just the way he was?
No, I think he was legit. He didn't thought I was ready for this.
Wow, man.
But I made it. And then you talk about legacy, because everyone knew he was my dad. And he's an important figure in Mexico. So everyone would try to test me. Everyone would try to, realize, okay, they want to find out, are you for real? Let's see what you got. Or he had beef with people from 30 years ago, and I would be the one to solve the situation, so it was hard. It was really hard to grow up in that environment. Then he became the commissioner in Mexico, which is an even higher position. And that was even harder for me. But by then I was tough enough to go through whatever. And it was hard. It was hard to climb to stardom in Mexico. And then eventually it was always my dream to come to WWE. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
And there's a very vivid memory I have. I was with my dad watching TV, and it was Shawn Michaels and Triple H on TV. What life is and how I became who I am and how I work with them, the way I've worked with them, that's just destiny. I don't know how that happened, but it was them who inspired me. And I said to my dad, and I was a kid, and I told him, that's what I want to do, there with them. And he just said, go for it. Do whatever it takes to do it. And of course, some years afterwards, he denied me the opportunity to be his the follower of his steps. But that's just how life is. It's never the way you want it. It's never the way you plan it. But it's always, if you have a vision and your vision is clear, you'll get there.
Go ahead, Jeff. I know you want to jump in there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, Santos. One thing on this show I don't shut up about is the wrestling needs. We need more giants and we need more luchas. That's all I talk about. So I'm happy to have you on the thing. Why don't you steal your dad's name? You should be Fantasma. Just steal it. Say, I'm taking it, dude. And I'm taking the mask. And this is now what? Now what, Daddy?
The ultimate heel move. That's what you're
Cool.
pulling for.
No, Santos is good.
I was the heel for a while in that household.
It's fun.
Yes.
In that house, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a question that marks like me wonder. When we get to be in your house or apartment or wherever you are right now, I always wonder the things like, you've won a ton of things.
Mi casa es tu casa.
Ah, thank you. That makes me happy. Well, there's the thing. Is you guys you win these things as you go. You're in lucha forever. You've won the the NXT Cruiserweight. You've got things that you've accomplished. And now, do wrestlers keep a belt from every time they win, or where do they keep all this stuff when they move around? Do you take photos of it and then give the belt? But how does it work? Where do you keep all these championships and trophies and belts?
Well, yeah, you get to keep one, and I have my trophy room back there. So I have all the belts I've ever obtained in my career.
That must mean helping wrestlers move must be a real pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, it is. It is because if you're a veteran or on your way to becoming a veteran, you will have your gym at home because you want to keep everything under control. And so when you move, it's down to the floor of the gym, all the, the stuff you got there, your frame pictures. It's hard.
Yeah, that must be. Imagine helping The Rock move. He's got all his chains and treadmills and belts.
His chains.
Pancake batter.
Hey, is the trophy room and the gym the same room? Are you looking at championships while you work out?
No, it's a different room.
Okay.
Your uncle was a wrestler too, right, Santos?
Yeah, and it was my cousin who got the name, not me.
I'm going to go lift as soon as we finish.
Me too.
Let's talk storyline. So look, I'll be honest, man. I'm biased. You've been in my home. We've broken bread together. You've met my wife, my children. So I'm on your side, even if you are breaking heroes' knees. Okay, what do you see as your future in the upcoming year? Now that this year is coming to a close, in the new year, where do you see you going? What do you see you building as far as your legacy?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to master your instrument in what we do. Specifically, you got to be good at cutting promos. Why? Because it's important to share whatever it is, the storyline, whatever it is you're feeling with the audiences, and so that they can relate or not, but more importantly, understand what you're trying to do out there, which is why I did what I did in LA, in Hollywood, train my acting, become better at it. Of course, I do not have the pen. I do not write the storylines. But what I can do, and I've been trying to do, and I will keep on doing, is get myself better. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming a better instrument so that when they write these things, I'm there. And I haven't missed one important show in the year. And this is my first year on the main roster. So I'm thankful. I hope that I get more, but I'm already doing a lot of stuff that I wasn't doing 6 months ago. They're giving me a lot of freedom, and all this effort that I'm putting into it, it's paying off. And I'm just glad that it's happening. Right now, the storyline is what it is, and I love it. I have the opportunity to show more of what I got, and hopefully we'll get to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I've been watching you grow so quickly. We only have so much time on the show, so we couldn't watch every single wrestling promotion show out there. So we kind of stuck to Raw and SmackDown. But my introduction to you, and a lot of people's introduction, was the World Cup, where we watched you and Ricochet put on a match that I didn't know even existed. Like, it was what the two of you were doing was magical. And then I learned that you two have a history, and I don't want to speak on other promotions, but you two have had a history. Like you said, you've been doing this 23 years.
Luchador.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We can say it. I'm glad you guys had a history. I'd like to talk about that match in particular, if memory serves you, and the type of story that you guys were telling, because it to me was like a match of the year contender.
I think you texted me or something. I remember.
I sent you a message tripping out.
But this is important, Freddie, because we shared the ring so many times in Lucha Underground, and we've always had great chemistry. And he left Lucha Underground before me, and then he went through a very rough time because he couldn't compete. Then he started competing and doing his thing. I went through my own, situation there. Finally got out of my contract, and then I started competing. But I did it first on NXT, just like he did. Yeah. Eventually, it was going to happen. And we would see each other, in different events, WrestleMania, because I was doing Stand and Deliver, and he would be doing WrestleMania stuff. And we'd be like, hey, we're going to get to it one day. That day came. And I remembered, and this is very important to both of us, I think, because it was a main event at SmackDown. And right. I'd been there for 2 months, 3 months at tops. So it wasn't like I was doing it for a year and then I eventually made it to the main event. I got the opportunity. So Triple H said to us, all right, guys, he pulls us aside and he said, this is it. No handcuffs. Just give me 3 segments of the best that you can do. And then in the future, when you're main eventing, no one's going to say, why?
Wow.
So I know it's a lot. It's on you, but I did what I had to do. And now you're there. You go out there and tear it. And that's what we did.
Yeah, man, you guys killed it. Jeff, I know we're getting close on time, so I'll let you close us out if you got something else.
Oh, yeah. This one's going to make him a little nervous right here. So here's the thing. Me and my buddy Brant Tobler, we're both stand-up comedians. And what we like to do is when we go to the clubs, we always say to the bookers and the owners and the managers, because comedy is similar to wrestling in a lot of ways.
It is. Yes.
The road life and the things. And so we always say, who's the worst? Who's the best? And so they always go, oh, we had so-and-so in here. He's a real jerk and a drunk. Or, oh, this guy's awesome and we love him. So in your experience of wrestling, who's a guy or gal in wrestling that you're like, dude, I just love this person. They're my ride or die. They're the best. And then, if you will, who do you just go, I'd hate that guy. So who's the best? Who's the worst, Santos?
Well, to be very honest, I don't really hate nobody. I've been doing this for a long time. So I used to hate people, but it was wrong because this is a business and you have to treat it as such. And I know it involves a lot of passion, a lot of real emotions, a lot of real feelings. But at the core, it is a business and you have to treat it as such. And sometimes people rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you got to hate them.
So you hate Dragon Lee. I get it. All right. That's fair.
Stupid.
I'm just kidding.
The new North American champion, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Who's the best then? Give
I don't
us
hate
a
him.
guy who you think is going to be a big star, or is just a good person, or someone you vouch for.
Dragon Lee.
Dragon Lee, there you go.
Dragon Lee is going to be a big star. I think that it's pretty obvious that he's got something going on.
Yeah.
He's been on the main roster for less than 2 months. He already had his first one-on-one premium live event.
You had such a crazy match with him, dude. It was like
crazy chemistry.
You refused to engage in a luchador style for the first few minutes of the match. It was just like, it was almost like you don't deserve it. And then when you gave it to him so hard. It was awesome.
But that's important to do because you know this Freddie. I was going to tell you, Prinze, you know this, Freddie. You know this, Jeff. If you see two lucha guys, and Triple H said it in the press conference afterwards, two lucha guys that bring more than just being two lucha guys. That's what I wanted. That was my aim. That was my vision. And I know the urge is there to, if you have 12, 15 minutes, just go out and do crazy stuff. But the truth about this is, if you say lucha, you say lucha. And I want to create a hybrid, much like we did in Lucha Underground, much like we did someplace in other places, in Impact back then, like try to bring my style with the American style so that anyone that watches the show will connect and will understand what I'm trying to do. And also because I want to work with Randy, I want to work with Roman, I want to work with everyone out there. And keeping myself in a box is not going to help me. So I needed to portray this. I needed to share this vision, and Dragon Lee, he got it.
If you do wrestle Randy Orton, you got to give him one for me because he jacked my back up when I hosted Monday Night Raw on a modified backbreaker. Granted, it was my fault, but I need some payback.
It won't be easy, hermano. It won't be easy.
No,
I might. He's huge right now. I might end up getting one for my own, but I'll do it for you, bro.
Thank you, man. Now, I noticed the Elm Street sign back there. Are you a horror fan or do you just like pain?
No, I am. We're horror fans in this family.
What is your favorite, or maybe you don't have a favorite because there's so many great ones, but what's one that you like to talk about that you always have to talk about when you're with friends talking horror movies?
The two, my two most important movies are that I was really scared when I was a kid was Chucky and Elm Street, because I was a little kid and I would literally think that I was on one corner of the bed or the other corner of because I would think that Freddie was going to just come out of my,
That's the best.
That was, or I would stay really still because I would feel like, Chucky's little step.
Kids,
for real though.
But then kids love Chucky.
Yeah, but then afterwards,
I was saying kids love Chucky because he always said he always cursed a lot. He would always say like shit and beat the B word. He would always curse. And I remember as a kid,
the Spanish dub is dope on Chucky. The Spanish dub is so good. It's so good.
But you know what's funny to me? That kids nowadays don't see it as scary as I used to.
It's a comedy to them. When kids talk to me about I Know What You Did Last Summer, they're like, that movie's so funny. And I'm like, that's a kind of an insult, bro. We worked really hard on that, but
it was scary. And back then, I mean, going to parties and being in the first year of college or whatever, you would relate to those movies. You know, like after a party, the lady's going to walk by herself. No, I'll walk with you. I don't want nothing to happen to you. You know,
for sure.
like you would relate. But nowadays, kids are in a different dimension. I must say, because to me, for example, The Exorcist, for example, is one of the movies that I really liked, that enjoy. Omen.
Yeah, The Omen. That's a great one too. You know, people thought The Exorcist was real when that shit came out. Like. That's how much fun horror is.
The aura around it was, yeah.
I think that's why wrestlers like horror so much, because it's all about tricking the audience into making it real just for that moment and suspending that disbelief. Listen, we're going to get into this and more stuff on the Deeper Dive on tomorrow's show, which is Thursday, Unsanctioned Thursday. So I want to thank all of you for listening. Santos ain't going anywhere. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow. This was Wrestling with Freddie.
This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura podcast network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.